Hello and welcome to Studio 18 in the Pines for their new art exhibit entitled Wrapt Attention. And you will see artwork by 7 contemporary artists doing artwork that you rarely see in other galleries. So come along with us and enjoy this wonderful show. This is Jill Slaughter, the curator of special projects for the city of Pembroke Pines, who put this exhibit together.
There are 7 artists in Wrapt Attention, which is the name of the show. And what I asked them all to do is basically use the same color palette, even though they're all working with such different materials. And so that way the show echoes similarity rather than walking from project to project and everything is different.
It's a wonderful show.
Thank you.
And you're to be congratulated.
Sure.
And thank you for bringing it to Pembroke Pines, because there's nothing like it.
No. Well, you know, as we're here now for 2 years, Studio 18 is almost 2 years old, and I wanted to continue to bring things here that maybe are not customarily seen in a venue like this. And so what I'm looking to do is really invite people to see work, not be intimidated to come here, and you know, you'll never know what's here, but it'll always be of really high quality and excellent caliber. And
it is.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thanks.
This artist is Bianca Pretorius, and behind us is her sculpture. Tell me what it is and what it's made of.
Okay, it's made of industrial felt, and my work is generally about pattern and repetition. So all of this is hand cut, and it's a very repetitive kind of motion. So I get big pieces of felt, and I start cutting them and slicing them, and then I put them up, and I sort of paint with them on the wall, so they're never exactly the same when I install them. They're always a different piece, which is something I really enjoy about this work. And you can see when you go to the edges of the piece, you can see it's very precise and very even, yet when you step back, it's a form and it's very chaotic, and you can't really make out what it is. And so there's this contrast of the two, the chaos and the order, and that's something I love in my work.
That's what we're all about.
Right, exactly. And I love exploring that, and I frequently use materials that are not traditional art materials. I use Tyvek, I use rebar ties, and I use this industrial felt, and I create different wall installations.
And interesting, very interesting pieces.
Thank you very much.
Very interesting installation.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
This is Patricia Shale Gutierrez. Gutierrez?
Close. Schnall Gutierrez.
And this is all your work.
This is several pieces out of the show are mine. So this particular piece talks about women, and it talks about confinement. And I work a lot with chairs because for me it is a sense of confinement. The materials that I use are very typically female. So we've got a kitchen chair, we've got tulle, which I've done a lot of work with tutus and women and how we get into these crazy outfits. You know, I like to leave a little mystery. I like people to ask questions and what the heck is going on here, so there you go. I keep it simple.
That's a lovely armchair.
Thank you. This particular piece reminded me of back in the day how my mother used to have this, not a mink stole, a mink coat. And I used to snuggle up to this coat, and that's where that form came from. And this, like a lot of things that I do, just started out as I was playing around, and I have all the steel wool in my studio. So I started remembering when I was young how uncomfortable these dresses were that I used to have to wear, and that's how it began. So I paired it up with a couple of other things. Somebody gave me the mannequin. This is a drop cloth. So sometimes I use pieces of things that I just find, and I can turn them into a piece of art.
As this is.
Thank you.
It's such an interesting exhibit here today, and I'm so happy to be able to share it with the public in Pembroke Pines.
Well, thank you.
So,
It's a pleasure to be here.
thank
It's a
you so
pleasure to be
much.
here. You're very welcome. Thank you.
And this is Lucinda Lindeman, and this is her installation. What do we call it?
This is called Threaded Impasse.
And what did you make it of?
This is made from all reclaimed plastic shrink wrap that I've collected over the past 2 years.
It's wonderful that there are people who are taking materials that are just being discarded and making them into beautiful art. That's a whole new art form that people didn't do years ago.
And I think it's very important to show people that there are alternatives to throwing things out, that just with a little bit of creativity, we can come up with different ways to use this material so that it becomes a resource. It's not something that just goes to a landfill.
Right. It's not garbage anymore.
Right,
It's
exactly.
treasure.
Exactly.
And it is. So,
Thank you.
Good luck, Lucinda.
Thank you so much.
For OCTV, I'm Elaine Kuhlman. Thank you for joining us today for this special art exhibit called Wrapt Attention at Studio 18 in the Pines.